Ariel's getting called out. So Ariel kind of like, Ariel, he knows information, right? He knows info. And apparently, he was kind of like privy to the Frankie Edgar situation. If you remember when he had Dave Feldman on, he was asking him and pressing him. And the way he was asking questions, it seemed like he knew the answer, but he didn't want to say it. In fact, in the previous stream, I think I already said that he knows the answer and he just wants Dave to say it. Turns out, Ariel did withhold information, okay? And he
what
reveals
I've heard,
now,
and by the way,
but he withheld the information because he had a documentary that he was releasing, which is crazy, dude. You can't be doing that. Having information on the Frankie Edgar BKFC dealings on the night of the event and holding onto that information until you release a behind-the-scenes video is nasty work, but it's the second time Uncrowned has withheld news.
Going to make nowhere near what he was going to make. By the way, what I have heard, and by the way, tomorrow, this is a good segue, our very first Uncrowned film is going to come out. It is called What is BKFC? It is going to premiere on the channel at 1 p.m. Eastern. Yes, that is usually when the show is live. I thought it would be good to air it when the show is usually live, and then our show will start right after. So it's about 47 minutes. We'll probably start at like 1:55, and then we'll have a regular show with some big names, and I'll tell you about them. But it's going to premiere, and it's a behind-the-scenes look at this company and what it is and what it's all about on that night in Newark a couple of weeks ago. And there is a moment where I do ask Conor McGregor about the Frankie Edgar situation, because I had heard, and again, this was shot on the night, I had heard that it was a ticket issue. They did not sell as many tickets as they had hoped. I had asked around about it. I saw sections tarped off, and my understanding was Frankie was, the agreement was that he was going to get paid a pretty good amount of money. I heard 7 figures. I heard it was the highest payday of his career, and that's why he took it. And it makes sense. And then they didn't sell the tickets, and they didn't meet their marks, and so they offered him.
I just want to say somebody laughed at me for saying that they offered Frankie $1 million. So what's so funny now? Then they reduced it and said, I'll give you 6 figures because they didn't sell enough tickets. So they would have took an L on the event if they paid Frankie. They did Frankie so dirty, bro. He's a nice guy. Didn't deserve to get played like that. At least he got paid something and didn't have to fight. That is a silver lining, Scott. At least he got paid something and didn't have to fight. But that's super unethical of them. You don't. Your mouth should never write a fucking check your ass can't cash, bro. Always remember that, boys. You never forget that, okay? Never fucking forget that. Never let your mouth write a check your ass can't fucking cash. And that's what Dave Feldman did. His mouth wrote a check his ass couldn't fucking cash.
X amount.
And that's what happens.
Very low 6 figures to just kind of walk away.
Very low 6 figures. So Ariel's making a statement here saying, like, he probably got offered like 100 bands, 200, 300 bands, right? From his original $1 million purse. Now, how much money did Frankie spend? What did Frankie buy, right? Frankie accounted for that money, didn't he? That might be ill-advised until you actually fight, but I'm just saying. Dave Feldman got to factor that into and consider that, bro. You promised a guy money he might have been spending and shit like that.
And he said no, and then he pushed back, and they came to another agreement for a higher number, but nowhere near what he was going to make. Nowhere near what he was going to make.
Okay, so probably 500,000, 600,000. And again, how many millions was he promised? 2? 1? 3?
Make. And he passed everything, what I was told, and ultimately they had to make that financial decision. I wish they would have just come out and said that. They did not, and they pinned it on his, history, medical, all that stuff, getting knocked out. The truth is, they knew all of this when they signed him. And what I was told was he passed everything and there were no red flags. And he is upset that they're pinning it on this. And I can.
Louis goes, I can't believe Feldman just didn't let him fight and be done with it. I know. And on top of that, bro, he fucking lied, dude. That's what I hate. And that's why this channel, bro, it just has to exist. Bro, you fucking lied, dude. You lied. Like, that's not chill. That's not fucking chill, bro. Like, go lie in your personal life and shit like that. But when you're on fucking camera, on Ariel's show, telling a fucking dog-faced ass lie, okay? There's tape to back it up, bro. You fucking lied. Why would you say that it was for his medicals when it wasn't? Why would you say that? Frankie said that he passed all of it. And so what, you either made that up or you paid a doctor to come and say that? Like, bro, if you guys made that up, that's even worse than paying a doctor to come in and say that. But it's just like, dude, like these guys who lie about this shit, it's just like, bro, that's so fucking bad. Like I said, lie in your fucking personal life. Like, I don't give a fuck. Right? But you come on Ariel's show and you're lying on Frankie fucking Edgar because of the shit you did? The check your mouth wrote that your ass couldn't cash? And you're gonna throw Frankie in the fucking dirt and say, yeah, he ain't medically cleared. Because you're trying to save face because you can't afford it? That's crazy, dude. That's fucking crazy. Honestly. Like, you did him dirty, and this is even fucking dirtier, bro. This is even dirtier. The fact that Ariel's airing it out, and it's also kind of low-key dirty. Like, Ariel, you should have fucking called him on the spot, bro. You literally let him lie to your face and lie to your audience and let people discuss this topic as if, like, when you knew you could have cleared that shit up and told the truth. And what's it gonna spoil, bro? If anything, it would have been more promo for your shit. People would have been talking about this unreleased documentary that you have.
I understand that. And so, yeah, that's not great. That is not great. And they're still trying to figure things out. Look, their Triller ownership has been called into question. The future has been called into question. This is not a BKFC like puff piece propaganda. They didn't pay us to do this. This is going to be my look at like, what is this? And it was also my first time.
This was in his hometown also. Imagine all his friends and family he invited SMH. Yeah, bro, it was shady as fuck. No other way to call it. The lie is the worst, bro. On national television, or not national television, but live on Ariel's show like that. It might as well be national television for the, MMA community. But Ariel too scared to call out Feldman and risk not being invited to the event. I guess so, bro. I guess so. And you know what? In that case, I'll actually accept it if that's the case, because he would have shot himself in the foot, right? At least he was able to go and collect the content. And if it meant, okay, I got to keep it hush on air real quick, I mean, that's an executive decision I'll let him have. I guess it was too much money, but you should keep your word. That was also what Louis said earlier. You should keep your word, bro. I mean, or don't fucking say it in the first place. It's really not that hard. Frankie told you no. And you went ahead and continued with it.